on focus. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hadn't done a live, and I don't remember the last time we done a live, but figured today be as good a day as any out here on this Sunday afternoon, spraying some of our burn down strips, just trying to get as much done as I can in between these storm systems that's coming through, and figure I'll bring a few of y'all along to keep me company this afternoon for a little while. So, we got, I don't know, about 15 acres left on this farm, and then we'll be moving on down the road. So, really don't know how long we're going to do this. A lot of it just depends on how much interaction we got today, how many questions y'all got, how many comments y'all got, that sort of stuff. So, pretty much, don't really have an agenda planned today. Just kind of let the viewers drive the agenda, whatever y'all want to talk about. So, let me have it in the comment box, and we'll get started. Hopefully this is steady enough. I'm trying to read here, and I'm using my phone to stream, so that's why you see me kind of messing with this. Little Missouri Outlaw, Mark Fields, Greg Rhodes, Jerome Hines, all the way from North Dakota. What kind of weather y'all got up there today? Jerome, y'all still got snow on the ground? Is it cold? It's about 75 with a light breeze here, and absolutely beautiful for today anyway. Why won't this thing stay? This out here. Missouri Outlaw says, don't go through the windshield. Don't worry, Outlaw. I plan on staying inside the tractor cab. It's a lot more comfortable in here than it is on the pavement in the ground. Jerome asked, what did I find wrong with the transmission of your big tractor? I assume you're talking about the one that I planted with, and then after planting season, I had to have it shipped off because it was jerking real bad in between ranges, and I thought for sure that we had probably a $20,000 or $25,000 repair bill on our hands, something mechanical inside the guts of the CVT. Lo and behold, we got fortunate. First thing they did when they got it to the dealership was drain the oil. The oil looked fine, so I said, take some filters off and cut them in half and see if there's any metal shavings in the filters, which would indicate something pretty bad. And the filters were clean, and they thought it was software. I don't know how the tractor's not connected to the internet. The software that was installed on the tractor when it was manufactured worked just fine. I don't know why all of a sudden software just goes bad. I don't know that much about software, but anyway, they update the software, and it's a whole lot better. I don't really know if it's close to back to normal, but it's a whole lot better. But obviously, there's nothing wrong internally in the transmission, which was great. It saved me a lot of bucks. Jerome says snow about gone at 55 in North Dakota. Tom Pankey's in South Louisiana. What's the weather like down there, Tom? Y'all due for some potential severe weather, I think, Tuesday, aren't you? I know a lot of it's supposed to go south of us, but I know like that Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana area could get pretty rough there. They've already announced a moderate risk for for Tuesday, and for them to announce a moderate risk that far out in advance is pretty significant. Let me get turned around here. Oh, false. Thinking about doing a fertilizer application this spring for a deer food plot. How much potash and phosphorus should I apply? Going to plant clay iron peas. Well, Cole, I mean, for a deer plot, really, I wouldn't apply any fertilizer. As expensive as fertilizer is, and you're not really shooting for yield, man, I wouldn't apply any phosphorus and fertilizer, or phosphorus or potassium fertilizer. Most likely, whatever's in the ground will be more than sufficient to make it grow. But if you really want to look into it, I'd take a soil test and send it off to Waypoint Laboratories or another soil testing laboratory and find out exactly what the levels of phosphorus and potassium is in your soil, and then, go from there if you really do want to apply some. But honestly, I think they'll grow just as fine without adding fertilizer as they will with fertilizer. Those clay iron peas has not really been bred like corn, cotton, and soybeans for extremely high yield, so I would think that you probably would not be as likely to see a nutrient deficiency in that as you would, say a row crop. Mark Gerber, West Virginia, long-time subscriber. I appreciate it, Mark. I hadn't been to West Virginia that much. I think I've been there. I've been there twice. I've been riding on the Hatfield and McCoy trails right there on the border of Kentucky and West Virginia. Love that. I've also, when I was back in high school, I took a skiing trip to Snowshoe, West Virginia, and I always wanted to go back. Just haven't been fortunate enough to be able to do it yet. Larry Allen asks, what chemicals are you spraying for burn down and rates? All I'm spraying in our hooded sprayer, which the video on us getting that rigged out will be coming out probably towards the tail end of this week. We're just spraying fans on our cover crop that we'll plant back into and leave the middles growing, plant green into that. But all we're spraying is Roundup, adding a little extra surfactant and adding some citric acid to get the water pH down low so the Roundup works better in our cooler spring temperatures. As high as Roundup is, I really needed to work good because we're having to cut our rates just a little bit, and that citric acid in years past I found has really made the Roundup work well. But it should kill, the cover crops that are out here within that band that we're spraying. But we got a mix of cereal rye, annual ryegrass, crimson clover. Some of those got some vetch and some winter peas on them. Radishes and buckwheat, they winter killed, so they're not out here. Got some. Also got some rapeseed out here that's survived. So our blend, our cover crop blend, just depends on the planting date that we were able to plant the cover crop, and then the crop that we'll be planting, our cash crop that we'll be planting this spring. Cotton, we don't need a whole lot of nitrogen, so we cut back on the legumes, the veg, the winter peas. Still got some clover in the mix, but for corn, we lower the grass rate and bump the legumes up, try to get extra nitrogen production. Y'all hear me okay? I don't do a whole lot with my phone, so. Carry him and says, pick up some dry dirt. I don't really have any dirt that's dry. I've got dirt that's holding me up, but I definitely wouldn't consider it dry. Having to dodge around a few mud holes here and there. All right, I'm about to go across the wash here. Might be a little rough. FS22 guy, no, I'm not planning. We're still quite a ways away from planning this year. This is, other than what we've done the week, this is our first field operation. We're spraying burn down strips on our cover crops. What we're doing is using our hooded sprayer to spray about an 8-inch wide band that we will then plant directly into while the cover crop continues to grow in the middle. So try and get a lot more benefits out of it, but it makes planting a whole lot easier. Definitely a lot slower than burning down with our big sprayer, but we've invested as much money as we've invested in these cover crops. We need to try and get as much benefit from them as possible. Let me turn around and give y'all a different view. Let's see. Carrie Emmons says we need to be putting some corn in the ground. You might have mentioned it. Where exactly are you at, Carrie? I know here, I'm sure we have another couple warm days and dry days. I'm sure there'll be some planters running up and down the road, but I have no plans to plant any corn until about the middle of April. You know, used to about April 1st was when we would shoot for here in West Tennessee, and then one year I actually planted my corn in late March. We had a real warm, dry spell. It come up to a picture-perfect stand of corn, most beautiful stand of corn I've ever planted. And then we had a late freeze that year around Easter. We wound up having to replant, and I swore never again in my life, I don't care what the weather was like, I was not going to plant again in April. And then just by the weather that has impacted us the last few years, I found out that our corn still does just as well as far as yield potential, and is really only a couple days behind if we wait until about the middle of April to start planting corn. There's just not as much cold, wet weather for the corn seed to sit into. So the corn comes out of the ground running and does just as well yield-wise, and really only has a couple days delayed in emerging. So I absolutely despise replanting. So I want to give our crop the best chance possible to come up and thrive. So it's hard when you see other planters running down the road knowing they're going to plant and you're still in the shed, but as long as I can hold off the temptation to put some seeds in the ground, I'm generally happier at the end of the year. That's been my experience anyway. Alright, what else we got here? Mark, you say y'all be planting some this week in Montana. What the heck could y'all possibly be planting? I'm assuming spring wheat was what I'm assuming. Greg, Kelly, Zach, just fine. They didn't quite get done spraying fertilizer on our wheat when we got rained out Thursday night, so sprayer is a lot heavier than what this tractor headed sprayer is, and we're not supposed to have rain come in until Monday night into Tuesday, so they'll get finished up spraying the fertilizer on the wheat tomorrow afternoon, trying to let that ground dry up as much as possible. But they're doing fine. We just been up until middle of this week, we just been busy in the shop trying to get stuff ready to go. Actually, we just been trying to get parts in so we can get stuff ready to go. I've had some things ordered for over a month and still hadn't gotten those parts. So hopefully we'll get them in soon, and I'll make some videos about that and post them. William Cusino asked, is the combine all ready to go? Well, yeah, as far as we know, it's ready to pull out of the shed, fill up with fuel, put the header on it, and go cut some wheat. You know, we had a combine inspection done on it, and they went over it with a fine-tooth comb. They got something like a 400-point checklist that they had to go through when doing an inspection. And they found some things that even I didn't know about, so I have confidence that it is ready to go. But when you deal with a machine with that many moving parts, you know, you could always miss something. I wish this chat would just stay up here to where I can see it. Ford Farm said, yeah, exactly. I always heard the rule in Tennessee, you can do anything you want until about the second week of April. Here the last few years, it seems like the weather does just about whatever it wants until about the middle of May, though. I know last year, the first day I actually felt really comfortable planting anything was May 16th of last year, and we were planting cotton. Then we had about a week of beautiful planting weather, and then 3 weeks of cold, wet weather, which was the start of the demise of our cotton crop last year. And he also says that the best corn he ever planted was on May 14th. I'm not going to say my best planted corn has been in May. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I've made some really respectable yields in corn planted in May. You know, last year I had extra corn that I wasn't planning on planting. We decided the last minute to go ahead and plant it. Then turned around, we had to replant it, and I can't remember the day. I think it was May 20th or so, and on some really poor hill ground, and it really surprised me how well it did. Give y'all another view again. I really wish I could stream from my GoPro. We just don't have the internet service to be able to do it. It wants to cut off midstream. It'd be a lot more pleasant for y'all if I could stream through that. Let's see what else we got. Dim Carr says, hello from Greece. Oh my God, goodness, we've made it across the pond. What time is it there right now? I'm assuming it's probably past bedtime though. Clayton Anderson says, you're in Madison County. Yeah, today I'm actually located in Madison County, about 4 miles away from the Crockett County line, but our operation is actually located in Crockett County. Joseph Laddish is down in Chester County. All right, I'll reach the end of the questions y'all have asked. What else y'all want to talk about? I know a lot of y'all have been wanting to see some shop repair videos, hollering at me about that late last year. Y'all enjoyed the shop and repair videos we put out so far? I know we got several more that will go out. It's just that due to lack of parts, we haven't been able to actually finish the project to where I can make the video on it. So we'll get them out at some point. And all of y'all that watched a long time, y'all know that we're die-hard no-till, but just to give you a little hint for you, coming up this spring, you will see us doing some plowing. As much as I hate to do it, we do have some plowing that needs to be done. So y'all got that to look forward to. Probably at least one video on that, possibly two, just depending on how long it takes us, how much we got to do. Chris Webb says, Crockett County, God's country. I'm pretty fond of it. I can't complain. Clayton Anderson says he does cattle. Well, Clayton, we don't do cattle except for what we raise for beef. And in fact, we've got 3 steers that we're sending off to the slaughterhouse tomorrow. So probably do a little recording on that. Probably the biggest problem we've got is we're really not set up to handle cattle, so getting them loaded is always an adventure. We did finally build kind of a loading chute inside of our barn that we can back our trailer up to. The problem is getting all 3 of them to go in the barn and then be able to shut the gate on them before they realize what's happening. So that's going to be my adventure tonight. Actually, the last year that we had steers before we built this loading chute was actually the year that the American Farm was filming on our operation. And none of it actually made it to TV, but the camera guys, the film crew, that was, when we loaded the steers, that was their 2nd week on the farm. And like I said, we were not set up to load steers. We just had to try and coil them in the corner of the pen and get them to go through the gate into the trailer. Well, we got 2 of them in the trailer, no problem, but there's always that 3rd one that wants to be a butthole. And anyway, there's a pond in the middle that we would try and run them around to where we were loading them at. Well, this cow got in his head, he was just going to start swimming through the pond. Every time we'd run him around, he'd swim straight through the middle of the pond to get to the other side. And finally, he got agitated enough that he jumped the fence. Like an Olympic high jumper would have a problem jumping the fence. He smooth jumped the fence and then got out in the field, and we spent the rest of the day tracking him cross country. I had my drone out, we had our side-by-side out, 4-wheeler out, and all along the camera crew was tagging along with us, filming every minute of it. He went through some creeks that were steeper than the side of Mount Everest that professional climbers would have a problem going up. And finally, he wound up about 2 miles away at another cattle farm outside their gate, and he saw the other cattle in there, and he so desperately wanted to be in there with them that he went through that fence to get in with the other cattle. So we quickly tied off the fence to keep him from getting back out, and I said, I done had enough of this. So Zach knew some guys, or it might have been Kelly, I can't remember. One of them knew some guys that were actual professional cowboys. I called them up, I said, I need some help. I don't care what it costs, I need this steer in a trailer. So they came over that afternoon with 2 horses, lassoed him up, and then drug him in the cattle trailer. Those are definitely skills that I haven't got. Anyway, after that was all said and done, I had Zach build a loading chute inside the barn. Like I said, the only problem we got now is tricking them to get in the barn while I can close the gate. Now, I've got 1 steer this year that's real skittish, and he's a loner. The other steers go in the barn just fine, but that 1 steer, I don't know, it could be an adventure tonight. Let's see, I lost track of where we are. Tim Carr says it is 2,300 hours. I think in Germany, that would be 11 p.m. Yep, that's past my bedtime. But glad you're tuning in. See what things look like on the other side of the world. Kentucky Farmer says, hey. Yeah, Clayton, cows are crazy. That's why I deal with row crops. I don't have the temperament to deal with cattle. I don't like anything that can run over me or kick me. I don't have to worry about that with a corn plant or cotton plant. I'm just real skittish around cattle, and it's not my DNA. But for the amount of money we save and the quality we get of beef over buying it in the grocery store, it makes it worthwhile. Ford Farm says we probably have a little bit more clay in Middle Tennessee than you have in West Tennessee. Hey, gummit, this won't stay up. What's my thoughts on ripping every few years to help water soak in? Ford Farms, I mean, I'm against tillage. I mean, at best, tillage is only a band-aid to an underlying problem. Tillage will never fix your problem unless your ground is just too rough and you need to smooth it out, which is what we're going to do this year. Tillage will not fix any soil structure problems. Initially, yeah, it'll help water soak into the ground, but after the first good rain, all the air pockets in that loose soil just collapse, and it basically seals the soil off and makes water harder to infiltrate after that. So, I mean, even if you're running the ripper properly when it's dry and everything, it's still, in my opinion, tillage is just not a good long-term farming option. The only way to really break up your soil and build good soil structure is to have living roots in the ground and not to disturb the soil. That way it builds up aggregates in the soil, get pore space to hold water and lets water infiltrate in. And I mean, it can take a while to do this. I mean, it can take several years to get good soil structure. But the benefits long term are worth it, and that's what we've seen on our farm. Most of our ground hasn't seen a plow in close to 20 years. And we've had some wet farms that have finally gotten to the point, through cover crops and no-till, to where they're not near as wet as what they want to be anymore. And the one farm in particular I'm talking about, it's got a bunch of white ground. It's got real heavy clay content in it. Now, it's real tight. But through no-till and then cover cropping, it's really improved a lot over the years. So, I mean, initially you kind of have to suffer through a few years of maybe some suppressed yields, problems you're having to fight and everything. But if you can hold the course, I really believe long term you will see the benefits of just keeping roots in the ground as much as possible and not disturbing the soil structure that gets built every year that goes by with plants growing on it. What else we got? Kentucky farmer asks, how cutthroat is land over there, whether you're renting or buying? I mean, we do quite a bit of farming within the Jackson City limits, and good ground can be cutthroat, but that's really not the type of ground that we're shooting for. I don't want to have to be rebidding on my land every couple of years and hoping I'm going to be the highest bidder. Our farming philosophy is we want a landlord that appreciates how we take care of the land, that we're going to build value in their land, make their land better through long-term practices that are sustainable, building the soils up, building the fertility up and everything. And we think that, that in the long term will make them more money rather than just trying to get the highest cash rent every year. So we really don't travel in the circles of where it's cutthroat. All of our landlords really trust us and really like the way we farm. Now, that being said, we're not the first ones that everybody calls when they got land that they want to have rented, especially if the land is highly productive. They want maximum dollar. But again, that's not the type of landlord that we want. We want long-term stability to improve the land then we believe that makes us better financially, and it makes the landlord better financially. But yeah, it can be cutthroat, and especially if we're also having to deal with subdivisions and ground being developed here close to Jackson. Most of the ground for sale here is unaffordable as just farm ground. It's not going to cash flow on its own just putting crops on there, unfortunately. Which guidance line do I need here? And it's for those reasons that we'll never be the biggest farmer around, and I don't want to be the biggest farmer around. But I've got all I want is just enough productive ground to where we can make a living off of it, and I can manage it the way that I see fit. It's not about volume on our farm. It's about the quality of what we do. Butterbean Farmer asks, how do you like new spray rig? I'm liking it so far. It's definitely a lot tighter than what my other one was, so I'm digging it so far. I did make a boo-boo the other day though, and messed up one of the hoods, one of the outside hoods on a lip where I had scraped with the dirt pan and bent the hood back farther than it was supposed to, and broke a little bit of plastic and bent some steel. But I got it back to where it needs to be, and still rolling on with it. All right, where's this? All right, where's the guidance line I'm looking for? I know it's here. No, that's not it. It's right here in front of me. I'm just not seeing it. There it is. All right, let's see where we at. Kentucky Forward says they want to do a lot of tillage work due to the tornado damage. Are you located around the Mayfield area? Is that the tornado you were talking about? Man, we drove through Mayfield coming back from the National Farm Machinery Show, and it just broke our hearts. I mean, the tornado basically followed that interstate. I think it's Interstate 69 that goes by Mayfield. Man, the damage, especially in Mayfield, was just absolutely devastating. I can't imagine. I don't see how Mayfield could ever be rebuilt. I know it will be. I can't picture what the process is to have to rebuild that. Just absolute devastation. Clayton Anderson asked me, do I hunt, and if so, what do I hunt? No, I don't hunt. I used to do some deer hunting, used to do some dove hunting, but I'll eat deer, I'll eat dove, but there's other stuff out there that I'd rather eat, and frankly, I just don't have the time to put into hunting. Just between farming, which is a time and a half job, and then plus making videos, YouTube, and other obligations of God, I don't have time to hunt. Don't have anything against hunting. I just much prefer to eat pork and beef and chicken myself. That's just my preference. I do. There's some wild game I really do enjoy eating. Pheasants. I love eating pheasants, but there's not any around here. I enjoy eating duck. I can't afford a duck hunt though. Good God, that's pound for pound. That's got to be some of the most expensive meat that a person could ever eat. Ain't no way I can afford it. I got a lot of friends that duck hunt. I just can't see spending that much money to go out and hunt. BD asks, you still having problems with armadillos? Yes, sir. I've bounced over so many armadillo holes. In fact, I got a plan for another video, but here probably sometime next week if we can dig it dry enough. I'm gonna have Zach and Kelly going around the fields. Zach's gonna be on the tractor with the chisel plow on the back, and Kelly's gonna be in the side by side looking for armadillo holes, and then have Zach plow up the armadillo holes. And we want to set that thing to go as deep as possible, and maybe we'll get some of those, you know what's, while they're still down in the hole, because they're pretty much nocturnal. But yeah, I've got to do something to smooth out some of these holes. I mean, some of these holes look like a freaking meteor hit the ground. You hit them hard enough at the right angle, you can break a front wheel. Yeah, they're bad, and that's one of the downsides of cover crops. You know, they eat the grubs and other stuff that really flourish when you got no-till and cover crops, so they're more attracted to my fields than my neighbors right across the tree line. So one of the downsides we got to deal with. But yeah, we're gonna try and do something about them this spring. Yeah, Kentucky Farmer said, yeah, he's from around Mayville, Kentucky. Man, I got no words, man. You'll be in my thoughts and prayers this spring as you try and work around everything you got to do to deal with damage and still do your job too. Oh, Kelly just commented. Apparently, I missed a text message from her. Hopefully, this will stay live. If not, I'll come back. All right, I'm back. She won't know if she can take the razor around. Yeah, I don't care. Take the razor around. Do whatever you want to do. Gonna go out and have some fun on this Sunday. All right, we are done with this farm. Another 170 acres done. We'll move on down the road and see if we can get another farm done before it gets dark tonight. All right, what else we got here? Oh, Kelly, no need to yell at me. I just replied to you. I'm sorry, the notification didn't pop up. Like it says, duck is like $60 a pound. If I had to guess, I was going to assume that it was going to be a lot more expensive than that. Michael Wallace says hello. Yeah, Kelly, go ahead and check the farms around the house for down trees. I've already made a list while I've been spraying of armadillo holes and trees that y'all need to go push up. And we had for y'all didn't know, We've had two pretty bad ice storms this winter. Probably the most severe ice storms I can remember since 1994. We had two of them. I mean, we don't just have limbs laying around the edges of the fields. We got trees laying down the edges of the fields that those ice storms from. So Zach and Kelly gonna have their work cut out for them the next couple of weeks. And BS says part of being a farmer is hunting and pest control. Well, yeah, I don't hunt for meat, but as bad as deer getting around here, I might have to do some hunting to remove some of the pests that are really starting to feed on our crops. I don't have it quite as bad as other farmers do, but we do have our share of problems with crops being eaten. Doug Schultz asks, he says, I'm in Ohio and had big slug problems. What are you going to do with your slugs? Well, Doug, the best thing you can do for slugs is to plant when conditions are right, when the seed's just not going to sit there and struggle to germinate and come out of the ground and just sit there. Ideally you want warm, sunny conditions, which, you don't always get, but ideally that's the best control for slugs. The other thing you really need to do, and I didn't really follow my own lesson last spring with cotton, but you want to make sure the seed trench is closed, because otherwise, if you're dealing with cool, cloudy, damp conditions, and you've got an open seed trench, you're creating an all-you-can-eat buffet highway for slugs. They get down that seed trench and they can feed all day and night because they're shaded from the sun. So you really want to make sure you get that seed trench closed, whatever you got to do. This year we put Pearl Force on our planter to help address that issue in our planting conditions to make sure that we're always getting the seed trench closed. Hopefully it works like it's working in my mind. And the third tip I would suggest, you really can't do this in corn. Cotton, it'd be really risky to do this, but in soybeans it's a different matter, is leave the insecticide off of your seed treatment. Not only will that save you quite a few dollars per acre, what the seed treatment does, the insecticide seed treatment does is, it will kill, the beetles and stuff that feed on the soybean plant. There's a lot of beetles that are predators to slugs. There's a lot of beetles that are predators to slugs. So if you kill those beetles, you don't have any, so if you kill those beetles, you don't have any natural predators out there to kill the slugs, and then the slug population blooms. And there's a lot of beetles that really don't feed on the plants, but they'll feed on the slugs. All right, the slugs have fed on the plants. They got the toxin in their body, but that toxin does not affect slugs, but then those beetles will prey on the slugs, and it will then kill the beetles, and wiping out a lot of natural predators. So those would be my three suggestions. Now, occasionally, some years, none of those three will work, and that's kind of what we saw in cotton last year, because we had 3 weeks of cold, wet weather following planting, and cotton is a huge sissy anyway, and slugs really lowered our population. But for most years, those 3 pieces of advice should really help you out a lot. Kelly Grease, weeks? What are you talking about? Clayton Anderson asked, y'all got some turkeys on your farm? We have a few scattered here and there. They're not really all that plentiful. But yeah, we do have some. Alright guys, you see we're right here by the road. Give me about 5 minutes. I gotta shut these gates, and then I've also got to get my GoPro rigged up to go down the road. I've got an idea for a video I'm gonna come out with. I'll share with you here in just a minute. So give me about 3-4 minutes, and I'll be right back. Alright, let me get my GoPro rigged up. Alright, gotta buckle my seatbelt. Safety first. Alright, we already got traffic, and I just got on the road here. We'll have to hold off on the rest of your questions until I get to the next deal, because I know I can read questions and drive at the same time. Come on. Got somebody behind me that doesn't seem to be too eager to pass. Come on. Anyway, the video I've got an idea for. Probably have to film most of the year. There they go. I'm going to make a video about do's and don'ts on meeting farm equipment on the road. Ought to be very interesting. It's certainly not going to be very hard to get enough film material for the don'ts of meeting farm equipment on the road, because that seems to be what we deal with all the time. I absolutely hate driving Minnesota Square down the road. This thing is so wide. Like right up here, I got tree branches on the right and then brick mailboxes on the left. Right here, I've actually got to let my hooded square down to clear these branches on the right. Bobbing and weaving. Alright, we're going to put your nose on. Alright, now we got a mailbox on one side and a garbage can on the other. Alright, now we're out here at the main road. Things will be a little bit easier now until we cross Windy City Road. Alright, now this guy right here did it right. He didn't pull over and stop. He just slowed down until he waited until I was pulled over, and he sped up and went on by. That's a picture-perfect way of what to do in meeting farm equipment on the road. If you're thinking that this tractor is fast, because it is fast, this tractor right here has got a top speed of 31 miles an hour, whereas our planting tractor's only got a top speed of 26 miles an hour. I didn't want to pay that extra unlock fee on the transmission to get full speed when I bought my planting tractor new, but when we bought this tractor used, that's the way it was ordered from the factory. So it makes getting get down the road a whole lot quicker. I have a bunch of limbs here on the right I'm trying to dodge. Alright, come on. Everybody out for a Sunday drive. I lost y'all there for a minute. I don't know what happened. Alright, this road right here is going to be pretty, probably going to be doing quite a bit of shaking for the next few minutes. Tons of mailboxes. Alright, we got through the curve. We're about a mile away from the field. I'll be back with y'all shortly. Try and finish this session up. And there went my water jug. I hate being on the road. Almost there, about half a mile. Oh, looks like Kelly rode the razor out here. There's my beautiful bride. Alright, we get this go throw off. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about the delay there. Kelly was looking for some gloves that Zach said was in the service truck, but were not. She did not find them. Alright. This thing folded down. Get back to spraying. Alright, getting my charging cord's in the way, stay out of the way. My farm set up. We don't have any guidance line saved on this farm, so I'm going to have to record a new guidance line. Bear with me, I'm sure there's been a few questions asked. I'll get to them here as soon as I can. It's not as glamorous live as it is on the videos that we put out, is it? Alright, new swath, start, engaged, go. Bear with me, I'll be back with y'all shortly. Okay, everybody wave at Kelly. all this cover crop you're looking at here was actually aerial seeded. We got a great stand off of our aerial seeding this year. We had the rain come in just within a few days after it being seeded. It just timed it absolutely perfectly. All right, we're kind of on a straight path here. I think I can hold it steady and look at some questions. See where we was at. Oh, Kelly with the smart aleck comments. I don't have any idea where we were. Kelly making a lot of comments on the road. Coco, I did put my seatbelt on. Kelly with more comments about putting 3 more harnesses in the equipment. I don't think so. Mark G, yes, I have my seatbelt on. I always wear my seatbelt now, don't worry. All right, Kentucky farmer asked, did I sell any of wheat at the high prices? He says he sold a little for $11 bushel. No, Kentucky, I did not do that. I already had 75 bushels per acre locked in before Russia invaded Ukraine, and even though we'll probably make more than that, I don't know how much more we would make. So I did not contract any more wheat. Did contract some corn, and I've gotten real close to doing some soybeans, but the problem is that the deferred months on whether it be wheat, corn, or soybeans is not near as high as what the current month is. So those prices are at a very good level, but I think that there is more room to go up. So we did lock in maybe around 25 to 30% of our expected corn production. And we actually locked in a little bit of some July 2023 wheat, but we were not able to do any more July 2022 wheat. But hopefully we'll have a big crop, we'll have some extra bushels, and the price will still be up there whenever wheat harvest rolls around. Probably not, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm trying to hold this steady to record a good guidance line. Butterbean Farmer says he had an idiot pass him on an S-curve yesterday. Man, it don't surprise me one bit. Some of these drivers act like the only thing that matters is where they got to go and what time they got to be there. They don't care about nothing else. Actually, here's a story. When me and my buddies went riding a few weeks ago in East Tennessee, we were coming home one night by road, and we're street legal, so we can be on the road. Anyway, just barely a 2-lane blacktop road winding through the mountains, literally just S after S after S, maximum speed about 40 miles an hour, or you're going to go off the edge. We had 11 bikes in a row. Had some guy literally pass all of us. Now, I'm leading the way. I was at the front end, and all of a sudden I hear what I sound like a police siren to me. And this dude comes flying past me in S-curves, tires swallowing so bad it sounded like a police siren. And I don't know how he didn't run off the road, because it was rocking back and forth as he was swerving, staying in the lane and everything. Scared you know what out of me. I just got to a point in life, I hate being on the road with anything. Car, truck, tractor, combine, side-by-side, motorcycle. I hate being on the road with anything now. It gotten bad out there. Missouri Outlaw says, dang farmer's always in the way. Yep, can't help it, but can't deny that. We do take up a lot of road. We still got to get places, though. Alright, I made it around. Hit the stop on this recording. Glad to see y'all stuck around with me after that trip down the road, and I lost broadcasting a few times. I don't know why. We had good cell signal, so I don't know why I lost y'all. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Alright, where are we at? Yeah, baby, I don't know why I didn't tell you. I know sometimes I'm supposed to get notifications of other channels, and for whatever reason, I don't get those notifications. I might get them, but it might be a day late. I really don't understand YouTube sometimes, but it is what it is. Glad you found us and made it. Coco asked, how much more have I got left to spray? I've done approximately 400 acres out of close to 1,000 that I'm planning on spraying. So hope I have a big day tomorrow. Hopefully I can get, 130, 140 acres done tomorrow and put us well over halfway being done with this spraying. We just had a lot of things to slow me down, whether it be rain or other obligations or stuff tearing up, whatnot. Really, I feel like I've had a really great day yet. We'll get there, though. Doug Schultz asked, did I get the transmission fixed? Well, Doug, that was actually in the other tractor, not this tractor. But someone asked that question early on in this live stream, so rather than repeat it all, just after this thing uploads, you can go back and see what the complete story was behind it. JT Cobb asked, is it best to knife in nitrogen or spray it with a sprayer on top of the plant, allowing it closer to the root, less runoff, correct? Ultimately, the best way to put liquid nitrogen to your crop is to knife it in. You run less risk of losing it to the atmosphere with volatilization or denitrification. You don't have to put a denitrification inhibitor with it, which that can be quite expensive. But it's also a lot slower, and you run over more of your crop knifing it in. And obviously, you can't knife it into like wheat because it's real narrow road, but in corn and cotton, you can knife it in. But it's a lot slower method, and you get more crop damage that way. You got to be real careful when you talk about spraying nitrogen over the top of the crop. You got to be extremely careful with that because nitrogen will actually burn the leaf tissue real bad. That's why in wheat we use stream tips, which just drop streams down in there, and you get a little bit on the plant, but most of it hits the ground. If you just use regular spray nozzles like you were spraying for a herbicide or something, you stand a really big risk of completely burning off all the plant material above ground and really hurting your yields. Now, some weather conditions it doesn't hurt the plant as bad, and in other conditions it really can hurt it. I know one year I had 150-acre field that we sprayed with nitrogen, and it fried it. Now the corn did put back out, but man, it was embarrassing there for a while. So our preferred method is to either use like in wheat, we'll use our stream tips to stream it down on the crop, and then in corn we've got drop hoses that we run from the boom, like every third nozzle. We'll run that drop hose down the middle of the row, and it's always done real well for us. I mean, it's not real close to the roots of the plant, but as roots take up moisture, that pulls in moisture from the middles mixed in with the fertilizer towards the plant roots. So nitrogen can actually move towards the plant roots with the flow of water. So the corn does ultimately get it. it's not the best way, but we can cover a lot of ground, and it hasn't seemed to, adversely affect the yields either. We got any more questions here? All right, guys. It says we've been going 73 minutes. Wow, I didn't know I've been live streaming that long. So, anyway, guys, I'm gonna get back to concentrating on my job. I got a couple more guidance lines I got to do. But really appreciate y'all watching. We'll have another video coming out. Today's Sunday. Should have another video coming out on Tuesday. It'll be the last of the combine repair. And then from that, we'll be having a little bit more shop work to show before we get into what we've actually done here in the field this last week. So, guys, I really appreciate all y'all's support that you've given us, and hope y'all enjoy the content. Hope we're gonna have a productive year, and hope we'll be able to put out some good videos about what's gonna happen this year. So, y'all take care. We'll be back again soon.